your friends. Hi, Tofe. Good afternoon. Hello, Modupe. Good afternoon. Once it is 3:05, we will start. So basically, we know that there's a lot of conversations, where people are saying things like, how do you cope? How do you deal with this? You have to work early. Some women have to resume as early as 8, some 7:30, depending if you're working in the bank. And you still have to play the role of a mother. Your child is there that you need to, take care of, and a family basically that you need to take care of. So today we're going to be talking about this, how you can achieve that work-life balance. And luckily for us, yay, this is the exciting part. We have Sheila, we have Frank, and we have Madam Mary here. They are mothers and they're here to shed more light. Madam Mary, how long have you been a mother now? For how many years? More than 20, say. It has been really long. So come and learn a lot. So they'll be sharing. Okay. Okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. So the time is 3:06, so we're going to get started. Like I was saying earlier, Sheila here, Francesca, and yay, hi Sheila, and Madam Mary will be sharing, from their wealth of knowledge and experience on how they are holding things down in the office and at home. So, like I said, once again, please share the links with your friends. We're celebrating women. We're not over it yet. This is March, is our month, so we're owning it. And yes, and really, you need to share it. Okay, 1 minute, please. All right, so Madam Mary will join us shortly. Network issues, but it's fine. So Sheila, hi Sheila. Girl mute. Uh-oh. Okay, Fran, are you ready for us?
Hi, Tife.
Yeah.
Hi.
Sheila is
Hi.
back now.
Yes, she's back. So pretty much, we just want to overall share your experience, as a single lady. Before you became a mother, you were working before then, and now that you're a mother, how has it been so far for you?
Okay. Is that for me or Sheila?
You can go. I think Sheila is on mute, so Fran, you can go first.
Okay. Oh, all right. So, w- working as a single lady is actually different from working as a mother, right? It's really different. So when I was single, I had less worries, less tasks to perform at a time. So yes, all I was thinking about was getting up early in the morning and getting dressed, getting to work early, and delivering on my job. But now getting married, I have to think of my family too. Waking up in the morning is no longer as easy as just getting dressed, taking my bag or my laptop, and heading off. So now I have to think about my son. So I have a toddler. Is 15 months. Yes, it's still pretty small, but I can tell you that the work involved is more. So I'm not thinking of just myself now. I have to think of him. When do I wake up to get him set for the day, or I even think of myself. And at the same time, I'm thinking of work. I don't want to get late to the office if I'm having to go to the office. But if I'm working from home, I can actually have meetings as early as 8:30, sometimes then 9. So I know I need to get so many things done before that time. So it's really different. It's really different. Well, it's interesting. Yes, I can tell you, it's very interesting.
Fran had to tell you that it's interesting so that single ladies, you not be afraid.
No, please don't be scared. And there are teams for actually managing this.
Don't
Yes.
worry, yes, we'll get there. All right. Thank you, Fran. Sheila, how has it been so far? If you're going to compare it.
So for me, I would say that working before having a child was it was a
Uh-oh.
good experience. I mean, you could do anything without thinking about, another human being that's dependent on you. Like, you could just wake up and say, "Oh, I'm going to do this," or "I'm going to work really late today," or you could get a call and they would say, "Oh, show up at the office," or "We are traveling to do something for work," and you can just, hop on a plane and go, without thinking too much. So but then when you now have a child, it becomes a case of planning. It becomes a case of time management, knowing how to plan. So Fran was talking about waking up early in the morning. Like all of a sudden your life now starts following a routine, and you have to make sure that you follow this like timeline of events. If not, one thing might suffer over the other. it's
Suffer
it's a
for
joy
it,
to be
yeah.
a mom, but at the same time, I would say that being a working mom or being a mother has taught me so much about time management, really. so so that's what I would say. That's what has been for me actually.
All right, great. Hi, Madam Mary.
Hi, Tife.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. So pretty much what we're talking about is experiences, before you give birth and after you give birth. How's the journey been for you?
It's quite an interesting journey. Before you give birth, you must have made your choice of who your life partner is, and which is very, very fundamental in your race as it relates to you being a mother and a working class lady.
All right. So that's nice. Single ladies, don't be scared. Don't be scared. We know you have another person to think about. When you wake up, you're like, oh, I need to do this, but don't be scared. Um, so let's get right into it. Now, my first question for you is what do you think is the biggest challenge faced by mothers in the workplace? Fran?
Okay, so the biggest challenge for me, we would say um, time management. Actually, yes, because you have a family to plan, and at the same time you have your work life that you need to attend to, and both must not suffer. So oftentimes mothers, working mothers think they have just two options. So it's either they are a good mother or a good employee. Yes, why can't you be both? You understand? So
Yeah.
you then have to become very creative. How do you manage both your home front and your office? So at home, you have a list of to-dos. So you are worrying about what do you have in your freezer, what do you have in your store, what is everybody going to eat for that day, what is your child even going to wear, immunization dates, and you have all that to do. And at the same time, you have deadlines in the office. You have projects to work on. You have presentations you have to deliver on before the following day. Yes. So how do you manage all of this together? So it's all about planning. So for me, I do a lot of planning. So I'm always with a book. I have a book for office and I have another one for my house. So So yes, things that I need to do at home, I have it on a book, on a list. I have it on my list, and so that helps me to plan. So for the day, I already have an idea, things I need to get done. Then for the office also, I prioritize my tasks. So I tend to attend to critical tasks faster first, so that I know I have the other time I have, I can use it for other less critical tasks. So time management, I would say is
Is the
That's
challenge.
great for me.
challenge. Yes, yes.
Yeah. All right. So Sheila, for you now, I'm going to be personalizing these questions. What are the challenges? Okay, just give me the biggest challenge you faced in the workplace.
Um, I think going back to work for me it was an interesting phase. Reason because it's trying to find that rhythm. So I would say that in the first few years, I think until my daughter was 2, I struggled with finding that rhythm. Like, so my daughter is what, 4 now, she's going to be 5. Just finding that rhythm of knowing like, okay, when do you do what, how do you, and then there was also that thing of that guilty feeling when sometimes you have to do work and
Yeah.
your child most likely might need your attention, maybe if they're falling sick or something, and so you start feeling guilty, focusing so much on work at that particular time. And then if you're like caring for your child, you're feeling guilty that you're not attending to work. um, so that
Yeah.
was my challenge, for a while, just trying to find that rhythm, trying to find that balance. So just like Fran said, it got to the point where time management became a thing. So a few days ago, I was talking to like some of my colleagues, and I was telling them, especially now with the whole remote working and everything, and then now my daughter is back in school and we're working. And I was talking about how there was a particular day I had meetings back to back, right? Like literally, there was literally no space on my calendar. And in the middle of a meeting, I was like, wait a minute, what time is it? Oh my God, I need to go and pick up my child. and and it wasn't as if I forgot, but it was just because you're in deep in work.
Yeah. Yep.
And so what did I end up doing? I ended up putting tasks on my calendar. So just like Fran, that she has her notebooks, I have like a whole tracker. Now I have like on my calendar, I literally have school errands, like school runs, this time to this time in the morning, in the afternoon. So that's where I don't schedule meetings during that time. So it's really just that challenge of finding rhythm at the initial stage. I would say that was the main thing for me, just being able to find myself and just realizing that you're a whole new person, because the moment you like a child comes into play, like everything changes. And so it's just trying to identify with who you are as a person now, understanding that you have another human being that is dependent on you, and you're dealing with situations
Oh, oh, Sheila, your net.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Sheila? I think I
Yes,
lost
I can
you.
hear you now. Yeah,
Perfect.
I so great.
So you were saying something.
No, so I was saying that was just my challenge, just finding the rhythm. So I would say that would be my main challenge, and when at the beginning times. But I think now I'm getting a hang of it for now.
Say for now.
But I think I'm getting good for now, which is why I'm excited that Madam Mary is a part of this conversation,
Whoop,
because
whoop,
Madam Mary has been a
whoop.
mom, a working mother for a
For
while,
a long
a
time.
while,
Yeah. So,
for
Madam
a
Mary,
very
how
long
many years
time. So
have you been a working mom?
Okay, it's about 19 years now. And you guys are very fortunate with the modern way of doing things, internet here and there. In our days, it was purely analog. You have to first of all love yourself If you love yourself, that means that you can face any challenge that comes your way that day without trying to pass the buck to anybody. Because most times your husband is the first person that suffers out of this frustration, quote and unquote. But if you love yourself and remember that you as a woman, you are wired for the life you are to face. Permit me to say, as a Christian, the Bible perception of wife, woman, that God has endowed you with everything you need to be a woman, to be a mother, to be a wife, to be a lover, and to be a friend. So, but in all this, you must love yourself first. So once you love yourself, you will be able to share this love in all these tasks. Unfortunately for me, when I had my baby, I was working with a Dutchman, and in his diary, there is no woman, there's no man. He will tell you that he's trained in America, and the only thing he wants to know, did you? You don't care how you go about it. So, and unfortunately, I was working Monday to Saturday, but I had a very good help in my husband who was very understanding. And I had a sibling also who moved in with me. So I mapped my timetable. Once I'm out the estate gate, I'll wear the cap of my office, no matter what news, no matter what happens. And once I'm in the office, closing time, once I step out of the gate, I wear my family cap. So that way, the initial stage when my baby was still very small, I had challenges because she refused to leave breast milk. I breastfed my child for 18 months, even though I was working. So it was tough. So what I do is I make sure that I eat well. And as a person, I love good food. So most time I take my dinner in the office before driving home. So immediately I get home, jump into the bathroom, have my bath, then I'll come out and spend quality time with my baby. It's not the number of hours you spend with your child that matters. There's the quality time you spend with her, him or her, that matters. And I taught my baby what I want to hear from her. I don't want her to welcome me with crying. I taught her that I want to see mommy, say, mommy, how was your day? Are you great? Do you understand? So she realized that I need to be happy for me to be happy with her and spend quality time with her. At a point, people around me were asking my husband, why won't you ask your wife to stop working? The man said, I met her working, so I can't stop her from working. And unfortunately, most of these people who thought they were spending time sitting at home with their children, I'm sorry to say that their children cannot see my daughter's back, academically or otherwise, because 1 hour with her was quality. My exposure in the office exposed me to the things I know that I need to get for her that help her in a quiet time, like a canter and all that, got her a laptop, got her a canter, taught her how to do so, not just playing games or watching cartoons, things that were very, very educative. And it helped me because as she was growing, we grew together and it became a challenge to me. So every time I'm trying to ask myself, are you sure if your daughter asks you A, you'll be able to answer her? So it exposed me to reading, looking at fashion, even looking at things that she would ordinarily see on the road. I want to see her mother in those pictures. So you must love yourself and don't complain. Make sure you eat very well. Eat good food, not junk, because your system is hot throughout the day. So it's only the good feed you take in and the love you have for yourself that will keep on replenishing your cells, your tissue, your muscle, your blood, and there won't be a moment of pent-up anger because that transfer of aggression can cause you a lot of things. So love yourself, love your child, love your job. But whether you like it or not, you need the job. You don't need the job just for only the financial aspect of it. You need the job to balance your life, your psyche. Because if you are just sitting in the house with your daughter 2 hours, 3 hours, at a point you get bored and you transfer the aggression to that child. And when you go out, you see things happening, you look at them, you listen, you digest, you mold you to suit you, your family, your child, your husband, and your household. So, and that keeps you going. So motherhood is golden. You are encouraged, single ladies. It is golden. Just make the right choice.
Did you hear?
Yes.
Pretty much. I think Madam Mary has already started giving us advices, so let's just collect it. So from Fran, she has two notebooks that she uses, one from home, one for work, so that she doesn't forget important things. For Sheila, she records, she puts it on her calendar. She doesn't, miss out things as well that she needs to attend to. And see, Madam Mary, ladies, you have to marry right, because in situations like this, sometimes you also need your husband to help you to fill up the gap. It's not only your child, it's our child. Do you understand? So yeah, and I feel like you should be open about the conversation with him. Now, my next question is, the pandemic affected everyone, but according to some reports, mothers are the most hit. Now, having to stay at home, taking care of your child, taking care of the house, doing all those things, cooking, ensuring everybody's happy. How do you cope with this, Francesca?
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi,
Yes,
hi.
so with pandemic and came remote working, right?
Yep.
So luckily for me, I work in an organization that was able to transition into remote working seamlessly. So for me, I went on maternity leave. I think the beginning of January, yes. And
Yes.
my mat leave was for 3 months. So the week I was meant to resume was when lockdown started.
Lucky you.
I'm telling you. So before that,
So
I was
funny.
already, thinking
Looking
of
up
how
to.
I was going to manage going to the office and taking care of my 3 months old baby. I was looking for a creche to take him to, and of course, some creches said, "Oh no, they only take from 6 months and all." So that worry was there. I was wondering, how do I manage this? And somehow lockdown started. I was like, okay, this is for me. It's for me, right? So it was really good. It was really good. But I can tell you that it's not easy too. Working from home, knowing that you have your child just few steps from you.
away.
Yes, like for me to be able to work effectively at home, I have to practically lock myself somewhere. So I work in the guest room. Before my when my child was smaller, so at 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, I could work in the dining section of the sitting room. So I had my work station there. But as it grew and started,
Scattering everywhere.
scattering things, taking my phones, taking
Exploring.
you understand wires. He loves wires. He loves gadgets. He loves everything fancy. Laptop. Oh well, he's happy and all. So I realized that
Engineer.
I needed to change my workstation. So now I work in the guest room and I ensure the door is shut, because if this young man hears my voice, like I can tell you, I won't be able to do anything.
Anything.
Starts crying and wants my attention.
Attention.
And you would blame him to some extent. He's used to seeing mommy at home.
Around.
Yeah, so he has not experienced mommy leaving the house morning to night every single day. So I've gone to the office a few times and all, but most times I've been working from home. So the challenge majorly is that there's no clear demarcation between work and family life. So you have meetings back to back, and probably you have just a short break, and I step out to ensure he's happy. He can see me, hug me, play with me for like 5-10 minutes, and before you know, I have to sneak in again because I have work to do. And then most times, when I'm not able to finish my tasks for the day, I have to then wait for him to go to bed first. So it is after he has gone to bed, then I know I have quality time to actually get some more work for the day done. So you find out that you are working even too much, even though you're working from home.
All right.
Sheila, I saw you nodding your head. You can relate, right? How do you
I can
cope?
so relate.
Your
Sorry, what was the question? The main question, because I got disconnected
Yeah, so
for
basically, how do
I
you
got
cope,
disconnected for a
with
few
this
seconds.
pandemic where you have to work from home? You still have to work. Your baby is seeing you every time. How do you cope?
It took a while for my daughter to get used to the fact that I was actually working, even though when mom is going to work, mommy leaves the house, right?
Okay. Oh,
So I come back and she'll say, "Oh, welcome, mommy." So she was used to attention to her because mommy's in front of her laptop the whole time working. So I had to get to that point where I started explaining to her because she's at that age where obviously she's curious, she's asking questions, so she's trying to talk to me. I think at this point, almost all my colleagues have seen my daughter at least a few times in meetings because sometimes she would just like show up while I'm having meetings, and I can't shoo her away because then I feel guilty if I'm trying to chase her away, right? So now
yeah.
we now have, I mean, now we now have discussions. And what happens is when she shows up sometimes, I will say, "Oh, mommy has to work or mommy is working." And she goes, "Okay." I'm like, because if mommy is working, mommy can make more money. And then if mommy makes more money, she can buy you all the things you need, right?
Yes. Yes.
So and trust me, that has worked for me. It might not work for anybody else, but it has worked for me.
The baby
So
likes
Yeah.
a lot
sometimes
of
when I'm really,
gifts.
really busy
Yeah.
and I'm like, mommy has to work. And she goes, "Okay, so mommy's working, mommy will make more money." And then she starts going, "Okay, mommy, I want this, I want that, I want this." I'm like, yeah.
Come on.
And then she leaves me alone.
Check.
And then, but even with all that, there are some days that she really, really wants my attention because they're children. Children will always want your attention. They would want to
Yeah.
crave, the pampering, the care, and all that. And then, on those days, sometimes I take a break and make sure that I spend like quality time just with her.
Uh-oh.
Just like what
Sheila, your line is
Madam
breaking.
Mary was saying, and spend quality time. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes,
Can
I
you hear
can
me
hear
now?
you. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So I was just like Madam Mary was saying about, it's not even how long, but like just having that quality time. So there are some days that she really, really wants my
Uh-oh,
attention.
Sheila, we've lost you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, I can hear you actually.
Okay.
Okay, so I was saying how like sometimes I need to take a break from work just so I can spend time with her, even if it's 5-10 minutes in a day, and we have like actual conversation. Whatever she wants to play with, whatever doll or anything she's doing, I actually spend that time with her. Another thing is in the mornings before I begin my day, I also always
Wake
make
up.
sure that we have that. I wake her up, we do the whole getting ready
Devotion.
routine, shower,
Together.
everything, all that. I make sure I'm the one who drops her in school, brings up, all of that. So all those little times for me that I can still during the day is actually what helps me to be able to have that bond going with her growing up.
Oh, that's cute. Fran, are
Thanks.
you ready when your baby resumes school?
Yes, Ife, I'm getting tips from
From
Sheila
Sheila.
and from Madam Mary. So
No.
yes.
Okay, no matter. So, Madam Mary, how do you?
How do you cook?
Yes.
I have to cook. So what I do is at the home front, I made sure I had some of the kitchen gadgets that could help my planning because without food in the house,
Mm.
there will be trouble. But the best way to a man's heart is through the stomach. So I make my food. So my husband could just microwave his food in the evening before I come back. He didn't find it difficult or he didn't see anything wrong in that. And I ensure that my daughter's laundry, play area, um, and toys, they are always kept clean. kept clean, because this is a toddler who doesn't know the difference between clean and dirty. And the hands, either if it's not going to the mouth, it's going to the eyes or the nose. So that way, I was out of the hospitals, apart from the regular immunization, etc. And I made my boss understand that once I'm out of the office, if he needs anything from me, he should call or send text message, then I will respond. Because of the nature, the nature of the job I was doing, then I was working in an agro-commodity export. So there was no Monday, there was no Sunday. So but even though your employment letter says Monday to Friday, I didn't see it as a problem giving service on Saturday. But when it became like you must do it now, you at a point you really have to speak up, because people will always want more from you. But be able to let your employer know that yes, in as much as I'm willing to do this, also recognize the fact that if I don't have a good family, a settled family, I can't give you that input you want. So I take time, plan out my activities, ensure that the home front is okay. So when I face my job, I face it squarely. And, I derive joy. I love working. Like my husband would say, corporal. You always want to be a corporate woman. Keep it up. I love working. And it has helped me because I started working at a very tender age. And when I tell people my age now that I'm still working, it's like, what are you doing? Forget about the money. The working helps my sight and helps my mental balance. Because in life, you have to balance it. Balance your work, balance your own life, balance your family. That way, you will be happy and hardly fall sick.
Yay.
Because those tough moments when you should have been releasing cortisol into your system, you're only releasing good things, so your cells are working fine. If anything is wrong, speak out. Don't bottle it up and killing yourself silently without knowing. It doesn't help you at the end of the day. People may not like you, but as time goes on, they will see reason why speaking up helps and take correction.
Now, talking about speaking up, what if your boss is not cooperating with you, is not giving you a chance? It's like, no, you have to do this. How do you now balance that?
Most times, you really don't have boss that give you time. The last boss I work with, every day I write my resignation letter. Let me give an instance. There was a particular instance where his resident permit was going to be expiring like in a month. And I told him 3 months to that time, which is the time frame. He said, I don't care. So suddenly, I was in the church on Sunday morning. I got a text message from his wife. My husband is at a Alagbo prison. So I stepped out of the church and called her. I said, I told your husband to renew his document 3 months ago. What happened? The woman started crying. I drove down to Alagbo. Immediately he saw me, because usually we call me girl. He said, girl, I called his name. I said, I would love you to be here. I just want to confirm that you're in safe hands, because you are stubborn. So your boss may not know the implication of some of the principles guiding what you are trying to sell or put through. But as a professional, the onus is on you to let your boss know. If you don't do this, because it's statutory, this is the implication. That way, if your boss has his way by not doing it and there is a problem, you will take the hit, but it will not have any effect on your professionalism, because you have made that point known from the beginning. That is the truth. So if you don't speak up, you are killing yourself, killing your job, and killing your boss. So speak up, you help your boss, help yourself, and help your profession. Thank you.
Nice, nice. So you see why it is important for you to speak up. I know that they look at ladies, women as no, we can override you because you're a lady. You might not say anything because of our ability to, accommodate a lot of people. But please ensure you speak up when you need to. Don't always suffer in silence. Now, Sheila, you said something about feeling guilty when you have to, work and your baby wants you to play with her. How do you deal with this guilt?
Whew, to be honest, I don't know how I actually deal with that guilt. Sometimes I just have to, tell myself that, this is what I need to do at this very moment. But what I do is that I always try to make sure I create time. So I remember there was one day, I actually have pictures of that day. There was a day when I was so busy with work.
Uh-oh, Sheila, we've lost you. Hi, Sheila, are you there?
And yes, I am.
Okay, we lost you. You said you were so busy with
Okay.
work.
Yeah, so there was a particular day that I was quite busy, and then my daughter had been coming back and forth, right? So I think she had been watching a lot of cartoons that had to do with like tea parties. So she was obsessed with having a tea party. And so she kept coming to meet me and say, "Oh, mommy, I want to have a tea party. I want to have a tea party. Come, let's have a tea party." And I'll say, "I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming." And
Yeah.
then I think after like maybe 2, 3 hours, I just felt like, God, this girl has been trying to get your attention for almost 3 hours for basically leave everything. At that point, as soon as I was done with that meeting, I just said, okay, you know what? I have another 20 minutes before my next meeting. I made sure that I sat down with her. We had our fake tea party. There was no, we were drinking air, but we were, but she was just so excited for those 20 minutes. She was
Sense.
just so excited for those 20 minutes that I was able to sit down there with her, wear her party hats and everything, and play that whole tea party thing. And then by the time it was time for my next meeting, I said, "Oh, okay, I have to go to my next meeting, explain to her I have to go back to work." But just because I was able to give her that time, that 20 minutes,
Yeah.
it made her day. So that is really how I deal with the guilt on my part. I try as much as possible to fill in like any short time that I can. I try as much as possible to make sure I fill it in and spend time with her. And then another thing that I do is on Sundays, I don't do any work Saturdays and Sundays. So my Saturdays and my Sundays are for her, right? So it's either we're going to go do hair because it's a girl. So it's either we're going hair in the salon or we're going to the playground or we are watching TV together. I just make sure that that Saturday and Sunday it's
Have
just
fun.
dedicated to whatever she wants to do, really. So that's how I manage my own
Your own guilt. All right. So before we start asking, allowing people to ask questions, we have a couple more questions here. Now, Fran, you mentioned something about having a book for work and having a book, for home stuff. Now, explain to us again how professional mothers, sometimes we're on the move, on the go. How do I now balance, that I need to write this out? Basically, it's just talking about time management.
Okay. So for me, I don't do everything myself. So I've realized that I should always ask for help. So I don't do everything myself. Yes, I have a to-do list and all, and I know the things that needs to be done. So at home, um, right now I have a help in the house, living with me. So some of the things that I'm meant to take care of, I actually delegate it to her. So she helps me with that. Then also cooking, as much as I love to cook, I actually love cooking. So, but there are days that I know I don't have the time and I'm not available to actually do the cooking. So I try to cook weekends. So I do my bulk cooking weekends and then just pack and store in the freezer so that during the week it's easier for me, for everyone. So there's probably bowls of stews in the freezer and soups and all. Then all you need to just make something light and
To eat.
you are good to go. Like Madam Mary mentioned also, I'm a fan of appliances, efficient appliances. So I have air fryer. So when I'm cooking, instead of spending so much time frying the chicken and all, I have my air fryer. And as I'm making the stew, the air fryer is doing its thing, frying my chicken for me. So that helps me to save time and also it's about the planning basically. So I plan ahead. Even days that I know I'm having early morning meetings and I have a very busy schedule, I can go as far as getting my son's clothes for the following day, the night before. So I just put everything together. So his towel, his clothes, his toothbrush, everything, so that it's easier for me. I'm saving 5 minutes, 2 minutes from this, from that. So that helps me, plan my day effectively.
All right, thank you. So, Madam Mary, you said something about no, let me try. So pretty much this is what my question is. We're talking about having gadgets, yes. Now, in a situation whereby your husband loves fresh food, how do you what should women do? Fran is laughing. But there's some men like that. You say you only eat fresh food, like fresh food.
Yeah, your husband can have fresh food on daily basis. Depends on how you plan yourself. You can make vegetable soup today and serve it 2 weeks time. It still remains fresh. What you do is you preserve your food, your soup, with containers that fall in line to the size of food intake you take on daily basis. That way, you are not defrosting your soup every day. You just pick a container that will serve you for that day. So if your husband just walk in and say, I need vegetables, okay, give me 30 minutes, and you warm the vegetable and serve him, there is no way he's going to know that you didn't just prepare the vegetable, because you have not been defrosing this soup all these days, you're not rewarming. So you just pick a container, defrost and warm, and serve. The taste remains the same as long as the food is well prepared from day one.
Can you see? Someone said you should make it himself. All right, all right. Hope you're taking notes. Come on, see my pen. So Bookie here is asking a question. She says, 1 minute. I've lost the question. Basically, she's saying, how do you handle mommy guilt externally? That's the ones that comes from family and friends.
Mommy guilt.
Mommy guilt, yes.
Externally. In the first instance, you owe yourself, your husband, and your child. You don't owe any other person. But being in the family, in that spirit of family, you carry people along. You are really not here to please everybody. Let me use myself as an example. When I had my daughter, one of my siblings moved in. She's a professional hairdresser. She moved in to stay with us. And the way we were trained, everybody can cook, even the males among us. So if I'm going to work today and I say we are eating XYZ, before you can change that to MNO, you must call me. Even if it's my husband, my mother-in-law, my mother who was staying with us at that time. So everybody know that you have the same rule for everybody. At the point of making the arrangement, if it's, I'm sorry, I wouldn't like this, fine, it can be corrected. But once I've said X, I step out of the house, for you to change it, I must be aware and concerned to that, because you don't plan with me. At the top of my mind, I know everything that I have in my freezer. So if I say, take this and you take this, I know. So if, unfortunately, it's the day my husband says, I want to eat banga soup, and I know that I have a banga soup, and you're not telling me, I ate the banga soup yesterday. It doesn't work with me. It does not work. And that is not being arrogant. That is also training people to be consistent with decisions and respect people's opinion, so that they don't distort your plan, because it's very vital, especially in this part of the world where some of the basic amenities that should help life is not really available. You have to provide for yourself. So you plan A to Z. And anybody changing that plan, you must know whether you please everybody from A to Z, you will still get side talk. So why don't you make yourself happy? Make people who want to be happy, happy, and set a good plan for yourself.
Yay. So
let me just try and answer that.
Okay.
Okay, so what I would say is that motherhood doesn't come in manual. Everybody is winging it one way or the other. That is the honest truth. And I know Buki just mentioned like friends and families. There's also like social media pressure, as well, because because if you're on Instagram, you see all the mommy and me's,
Mommy and
all
me,
the
we need
snapback queens, all the meal preps and everything, all like perfect, and they look so perfect in your eyes, and you're wondering. One of the things, just a reminder that motherhood does not come with a manual. Everybody's winging it. So don't be too hard on yourself. You are learning. It's one of those things that you will keep learning over and over again. So for me personally, like I'll use myself as an example. I happen to be a single mom. So there was also that, that's also that element of being a mother and not being in a, marriage at the time.
mm,
Um, and that whole pressure of, managing a home with just me and my child and then also work. I had to cope with that, and then also cope with people saying, oh, yeah, I do this with my child every day we do this, and no, I can think of so many things that my friends do with their kids at the time when they're younger, and it used to drive me crazy. So personally, what I started doing at some point, I started unfollowing a lot of all these mommy influencers on Instagram.
yep,
I'm
yep,
like, you cannot pressure me in life.
That's it.
I
never.
refuse to be pressured.
That's it.
I unfollowed almost all the mommy influencers
Sure.
because I was like, I'm not going to be too hard on myself,
Yeah.
right? Even if you've had children before, should no two kids are the same. Your first, your second, your
Yeah.
third will be different individuals. So the
Yeah.
way you will raise the first one might be different from the way you will raise the
Different.
second one. So don't be too hard on yourself, right? Just accept it. Like, okay, this is your reality at the moment. Just make sure you are intentional and make sure that you are actually making plans for yourself. And to be honest, if you have to outsource certain things, please do not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
So I have a nanny for my daughter. Fran was talking about how, she has a live-in help at the moment. Sometimes when all these conversations comes, especially like when you're a new mom, there's going to be that whole, oh no, I can't have a nanny, I can't do this. Everybody's going to say what works for them, but that's fine. That's what works for them. What works for you? Your mental health is very important as a
Yep.
mom. You can only be a good mom if you're a
If
happy
you're
mom.
mentally balanced. Yeah.
So
Yes.
if you're not a happy mom, if you're not a happy person, first of all, you will be a terrible mother
Sure.
because children feed off your energy. They feed off your energy. They know when you're unhappy. They know when you're happy. So just do whatever you can to make sure that you are there for your child. But at the same time, don't be too hard on yourself. There really isn't a manual to motherhood.
Yep. There is no
Thank
manual
you.
to motherhood. Now, as we wrap up quickly, Fran, you gave birth pre-COVID, and from then to now, what should professional mothers consider before starting employment at a new place? At a new place.
Okay. So using myself as an example. So I'm thinking if you just had your baby and you are having to resume work very soon. So the first thing you should think of is the right care for your child. So because it is only when you are sure that your child is being well taken care of, is in safe hands, that you will be able to concentrate at work. You'll be able to give your best at work. So the first thing, look for a very good daycare or crèche, or probably a nanny, an experienced nanny. You can get an experienced nanny that will be able to take care of your child the same way you would, or someone that you really, really trust. And even while you are at work, you have to maintain constant communication. So from time to time, you want to find out what is happening and all. So I was discussing with my cousin last week or so. So he was telling me about a crèche that a school that he just enrolled his daughter. So this school actually has an app. So at interval, they post pictures of the children. So you're at work and you can actually get to see what your child is doing. So that kind of gives you that comfort. You are sure that, oh, my child is safe. So you're at work, you're not thinking, oh, is this child okay? What is he doing right now? And also everything kind of balances out. So you need to first figure out where how your child will be taken care of so that you can then concentrate at work.
Yay. So thank you so much. Now, wrap it up. What is the most important piece of advice you have for mothers who are pursuing career? So Fran, you go first.
Sorry, I didn't get that, Sife.
What is the most important piece of advice you have for mothers who are pursuing career?
So I would say first, drop the guilt, right? So like Buki was asking that, people, family and friends saying, why do you have to go back to work when you have maybe a 3-month-old child or 6-month-old child and all. So that we always be there. So you shouldn't focus on that. Actually, it's not important. What is important is your family and your work. So focus on the positive things that your work life is bringing to the family. So be confident that you are making the right decision, not just for your family, but for yourself too. Like Madam Mary said, you working gives you that fulfillment. You are doing it for yourself. You are happy doing what you want to do and not staying at home and all. So focus on the positive. And your children, we get to appreciate your sacrifice. Yes, because you are working because of them too. Money is very important. Yes, they need to live good lives, and you need to work to combine your finances with your spouse and then take care of your kids. So.
Hey, so Madam Mary, what advice do you give them?
All I would say is be sure you are convinced you want to work. Because if you want to work, because people want you to work, when there's pressure, you run away from that work. But if you are so confident and you know that, yes, I love working, I want to work, the work will not interfere with your family life in many ways. Even when you get to a position where you are earning more than your husband, you still remain a wife, that position where God has given to you. So be happy, believe in God and believe in yourself, and always try to do things outside your work arena that makes you happy and brings joy to your family.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Mary. Sheila, what advice do you give them?
For me, I will say you can have it all. A lot of times, we always feel like, we either need to sacrifice our careers or our homes will not be, we won't have enough time for homes. I just feel like you can actually have both. You can actually have all, just like what Madam Mary said as well.
Yeah.
Of course, obviously, there are times in your life that you might have to, one might be more important than the other, but it doesn't take away the fact that you still have your dreams and you still have your aspirations and things like that. So hold on to your personal dreams and know that you can actually still be like an excellent career person and still be an excellent mother as well. You don't have to be one or the other. You can actually be both. So that's really what I was.
Yay! So you see, motherhood is very interesting. Single ladies, don't be afraid. Put it through. Like, come on. Thank you so much, Fran. Thank you so much, Sheila.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Madam Mary, for
Thank you
this
for
knowledge
having
that
us.
you impacted in us. It was really nice having you here. For everyone, thank you for joining. I hope you were able to learn it. Like, come on, me like this now. I've learned a lot. Like, get the right kitchen things. You cannot be cooking morning, afternoon, and night. It's not possible. It cannot work. So, they could not call us Indomie generation. They should not be offended. Please put the food in the microwave. But yeah, I hope you learned a lot, and it was really nice having you here. Thank you.
Privilege. Thank you, Sharon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
All right.